Hi, and thanks so much for joining me. Today we are talking about my top 5 matte eyeshadow palettes. If you'd like to see that, please keep watching. Thanks so much to those of you who are returning, and a special welcome to those of you who are coming over from Lisa's channel, Lisa Monique Beauty. Today I am collaborating with Lisa on this. We thought it'd be a really great idea. Just a little bit about how Lisa and I found each other. I remember her commenting on my videos, and then I went to go and check out hers. I think she was doing like a live on all of her Charlotte Tilbury makeup, I think, and she had so much, so it was really fun to listen to her talk. So she does have quite a bit of experience with makeup in general. She is a photographer, and she does hair and makeup for the clients that she takes photos of. So anything in terms of skincare, makeup, and also fashion. If you're interested in that, please go and see her. But I am eternally grateful to her because she noticed I kept saying I was having issues with color balancing my videos once I got into editing. So she asked if I used Final Cut Pro, which I do, and she sent me over a link to a video that helped really just explain how to use the functions on Final Cut Pro to balance the color. So ever since that video, I've been using that information to expedite the editing process, and I'm able to make more videos because I was spending so much time editing, like way more hours editing than it took to film. So it has been a lifesaver. So I will always be thankful to her for that. But if you haven't checked her out, please make sure to go see her video as well. If you are new here, really quickly, I focus on luxury beauty. So it's pretty curated, and even in terms of luxury beauty, I might not focus on so many brands, but it's has become very niche. So if you like brands like Sisley, what else do I focus on? Chantecaille, Chanel, Hourglass I still love, and what else? Dior. I'm looking over here. I have so much Dior right now. So I post at least every Thursday. So I was posting once a week forever. And then I went to twice a week. So usually it's Thursday and Sunday. And then if I have extras, I'll just kind of sprinkle them out throughout the week. So if that sounds interesting to you, I would love for you to join us. So let's go ahead and talk about these eyeshadow palettes. Now I feel like I have so many shadow palettes that are shimmery. And I noticed a lot of palettes out there are just shimmer, like the Dior palettes that have recently been released. It is rare to find a matte shade in there. So it's a bit of a challenge to, I think, use them, but I like the challenge. But also, it is nice to have some matte palettes every once in a while, and especially to anchor some of those things. So I do have 1, 2, 3, 4 totally matte eyeshadow palettes, and then one is like, it's matte, but it has just like a little hint of something, but it's not shimmery. Let's go ahead and start. I'm going to go from like light neutral to more rich colors. So let's start with this one. It's by Charlotte Tilbury, and this is a more recent purchase. It's the Sophisticate. So if you're not familiar with the Charlotte Tilbury palettes, they are usually, there's some level of shimmer, like there's a disco color in there that's really shimmery usually. This one is all matte. And I like this one because it was neutral. I was looking at that time for a more neutral palette, something a little bit cooler. I have some warm palettes here. So we have a nice creamy shade, and on me, this is almost cool because of my skin tone, although the color itself is not cool. And the second color here is kind of like a minky brown on me. Again, it really does depend on your skin tone how these will come across. But these, I would consider this more of like a cool palette on me. Then we have this gray color, and it does have a bit of warmth to it if you look closely. So it's not a totally cool gray. It's like a grayish almost. And then we've got this dark brown color, but it's still very soft. So even though it looks quite intense in the pan, it is quite soft. It's a Sophisticate. I think that really represents it well. It is very sophisticated. It is difficult to go wrong with this palette. Even though the colors swatch really well, it's not like this quick intensity that you can't manage. I think this is a very easy palette to use. Very soft. I find with these, I add drama more with things like the eyeliner and the mascara. So I feel like in general, that's kind of how it goes. The next one I have is the Chanel palette, this quad. All of my palettes here, by the way, are smaller, so they're quads. There was only 4 colors in most of them. No, in all of them. So this is 308. This also leans a little bit cool on me, but I will swatch everything side by side so you can kind of see how they compare. So this one, let's start with this lighter shade, a bit warm. It's almost like a putty color, really beautiful. And then we've got this shade, which is like diagonal from it. It's again a light gray color, but it's still got warmth to it. Like there's a little bit of pinkiness to it. And then we've got this next shade, which comes across as more of a warm brown when swatched. I think when you see them side by side, it's difficult to see the difference, but when they're swatched, it's much easier. And then we have this gray color, which is a bit more intense than, say, the gray that we tried out in the Charlotte Tilbury. We're getting into the warm shades here. So this is the Desert Haze that Charlotte Tilbury came out with earlier this year. I think it was like the spring when the bronzers came out. This one is for those of you who struggle to find warm mattes. I almost feel like it's a little bit easier to find cool matte colors. So this one has a beautiful light peachy shade for the lightest shade. And then next we have a terracotta color. It reminds me, of course, of the desert. And then we have a very warm brown. It has a tinge of red to it as well. So I think beautiful on brown eyes. And then the brown here is still warm. Then we move into the next palette. This is the Chanel palette, which was so hard to get a hold of when it originally was released like years ago. And then I finally got my hands on it. It's the 268. And this is the one that coordinates with the those pink red palettes that came out this fall. So they're meant to be used together, because if you look at those other 2 palettes, they don't have any mattes in them, but they are meant to coordinate with this. So let's start with the lightest shade. The lightest shade is a nice brown color, a light brown. And then next to it is a warm brown. There's very little in terms of differentiation in the intensity of these 2, but the tones are different. And then we have this dark brown. Lots of dark browns in these palettes. And then we have this red shade. So that is the one that made this palette really different. And I know people were wearing this one by itself. And I think it's really pretty. It's just, I think, being strategic about the placement of this red. Because when the red is too close to at least my eye, that's when it starts to look a little bit like, what's happening there? But I think that if you put this and then like a brown eyeliner next to the lash line, that's much prettier. So I'm swatching them as I'm talking to, but I'll give you some really good swatches up close so you can compare. But so far, we've got here the Sophisticate. We've got the Chanel palette in shade 308. And then, okay, got to get that out of the way. And then, let's see if I can get that to stay. And then this is the Desert Haze palette. Then we've got 268 Chanel right here. So this is the order we're going. And then finally, I have this palette, and this is the one that has just a little bit of shimmer in it. It is the Tweed palette by Victoria Beckham. And these are really beautiful. In fact, I recently pulled this out and did a look with it. But you have a beautiful, like, this says caramel, this caramel shade next to another dark brown. This one is a really beautiful warm brown shade. And then we've got a plum shade, which I think is so, so pretty. This one intensifies the look quite a bit, that plum shade. Then we've got this color, they call it Rust. So it's interesting to compare that Rust to the one in the Chanel palette. So those look a little bit similar. Yeah, really pretty. In fact, these 2 palettes remind me a little bit of each other. Here's the Victoria Beckham versus the Chanel. Again, I will show you close-ups of that, so then you don't have to wonder. So I love all of these palettes. I think I use them for different purposes. I use this for really soft, neutral, especially if I have something like a dark lip or a red lip. I love using this one. Same goes for this, although there's just a little bit of more warmth to this, I think, than this one, and a little bit more intensity here. Then we've got this. In fact, I used this in combination with this today. So, oh, my hair. So if you're wondering what I have on my eyes, I do have these matte palettes on. I used it with this. I pulled in these two. So I love this one for the warmth, a soft warmth, because I don't think any of these other ones have that soft warmth to it, especially right here. And then this one I think is a really great, just there's so many neutrals here you can pull from if you exclude the red. I think any of these are great for the crease color. In fact, I used all 3 of these today with this eye. And I don't use the red as much as I think I would like to use the red, if that makes sense. I love that look though, single shadow with a red and a brown eyeliner. It's so pretty. And then this one I think is such a great combination. All of these colors together work beautifully. When I use this palette, I use all of the colors. Yeah, really beautiful. But there's quite an impact with this one. So it really depends on cool versus warm, and then also your levels of intensity. And then just a little bonus here. I thought I'd just pull this out because someone asked about this. This is the Signature palette by Victoria Beckham, or the Signature brick. That's what she calls these. And I think I had questions about how it compares to this and maybe this. I can't recall. So what I'll do is I will swatch all of these side by side for you so you can see them. Let me get my hands out of the way here, just so you can see them. But right now, these are all available, which is also nice because sometimes palettes, like I actually have more matte palettes, but they are no longer available. So at least these are available to you. And I hope that was helpful. I do like all of them. I think they perform well. There isn't one that I think is bad or else it wouldn't be in here. That's kind of the rundown of them. If you have more specific questions, please let me know. I would be happy to help you. But these are definitely staples in my makeup wardrobe because I do pull for them, especially with all of these shimmery palettes we have, which are so beautiful, but sometimes I just need a good matte. And I like that these are in quads. But please let me know what your favorite matte eyeshadow palettes are so I can pick it up if it's available. But make sure to go see Lisa's video. I'm headed over there right now myself. I'm curious to know if we have any of the same overlapping palettes. That will be really interesting. But that's it for today's video. So please take care of each other. Stay well. If you enjoyed this video, if you learned something, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and I will see you next time. Thanks.